Women empowerment and entrepreneurship plays a significant role in aiding women to enhance their personal capabilities and increase decision-making status in the family as a whole, making them a pivotal part of the system. We at Sri Krishna institutions are being led by one such leader, one such strong and powerful woman, our dynamic leader, Srimati Malarvali ma'am, who has taken our institution by leap and bounds in the past 4 decades. We really owe it to her. As the saying goes, when we empower a woman, we empower a society. So with this thought, let's move forward to our next panel discussion. And for the next panel discussion, we have Dr. Kezevino Aram, President Shanthi Ashram, International Center for Child and Public Health. Ma'am will be the moderator for the next discussion. Ma'am has served as a president for Shanthi Ashram since 2014. She's founded the International Center for Child and Public Health on the 30th anniversary of Shanthi Ashram. Ma'am was invited to serve as the experts committee for the government of Tamil Nadu on March 2020. Internationally, Dr. Aram has continued to leverage her global leadership positions for the common good. Ma'am has received her Master of Public Health degree from the School of Public Health, Harvard University. Ma'am is deeply committed to the Gandhian spirit and convenes many initiatives that focus on community cohesion and active peace building. We welcome you, ma'am.
It's my pleasure to invite the next panelist, Mahathi, who is a Carnatic musician and playback singer. Hailing from a family of musicians, Mahathi is a child prodigy. Her smash hit in the famous movie Sami, with the duet song with Sri Hariharan, composed by Haris Jairaj, really became popular and made her a star among music lovers. She bagged many awards and accolades from reputed music organizations, some of which are 1996 All Kerala ICAC Award for Light Music, 2003 Sensational Debut Singer for Variety Film Awards, Sami in 2003, and the Tamil Nadu State Film Award for Best Playback Singer in Nera Varatuma in Nenjathai Killade. Welcome, ma'am. Please join us.
Next, we have Madam Veena Kumaravel, who's on the panel. She's an Indian entrepreneur and founder of India's #1 salon chain, Naturals. Naturals is a prominent beauty salon chain in India with over 700 plus outlets. Launched in the year 2000, she, along with her husband, have changed the face of the salon industry, which was considered to be a taboo in India, to a lifestyle industry now. Her long-term goal is to make Naturals the #1 salon chain of the world. Ma'am has been credited as the first woman in South India pioneering in the salon business. Her vision is to create 1,000 successful women entrepreneurs, 3,000 plus salons, 50,000 jobs within 31st December 2025 through Natural Salons. We welcome you, ma'am.
Next up, it's my pleasure to welcome Dr. P Shanmugapriya, who is a surgeon for critical dental care, currently the head of dental department of GKNM hospitals. She's been a consultant there for over 14 years and has a private practice for over 20 years under the name of Charaka Dental Clinic. But that's not all about her. She is into fashion designing and accessories, and she runs a very famous boutique under the name of Kadambari, where she gives vent to her creative aspects in terms of designing, designer clothes and other things. With no more ado, over to Dr. Shanmugapriya.
The panel is open for discussion. Over to Dr. Kezevino.
You know, I just want to take forward two thoughts from the previous panel, and it really struck me. Pediatrics and public health is my area of expertise, meaning I work with children. But I couldn't agree more about the focus that Sujit brought from the panelists about shaping your thinking. And I think that is where India is. We're at that cusp because we have enough to be proud of. Enough to be proud of as India celebrates 75 years. But I think that pride also gives us the freedom to look at what we can do better. And the second thing that I took away from that panel is also this commitment to meta-learning. Meta-learning is not just in the digital world. If you just take those two words, meta, all-encompassing, looking at what is there for us to take, and learning, a very committed way of absorbing knowledge, processing it, and bringing it, then I think meta-learning is a shared focus. Let me just take a few minutes to open, and then I have such a wonderful panel that I want to hear them. This morning, when Mr. Amitabh Kant spoke to us, he spoke about a few facts. And allow me, Aditya, first to thank you, your wonderful mother, the amazing faculty of this institution, but the most amazing students of Sri Krishna for your warm hospitality. Please give yourself a louder round of applause. You know why? Because these are moments where we start thinking not just of the G20 summit, Aditya. We think of us as a community. Suddenly we were all hosts, those of us who belong from Coimbatore. Suddenly we thought of each other as Indians. And in the midst of it, of course, we're also talking about issues that can help the progress of Indians. So two things from Mr. Amitabh Kant's talk this morning. Remember, he told us when India turns 100, we are 75 now, the average age of an Indian would be 29. That's young. And that means a lot of hope. When the students of Sri Krishna danced, that language was powerful because there was energy. There was energy that brought all of us to think, what can I do? But that data also tells us that we have to act intentionally. And I think the future of India cannot be something that can be separated from the future of India's daughters, whether they are girls, adolescents, adults, or elders. And it's a positive story of India that we can share. Our governor was speaking about how some nations fell behind in giving women the right to vote. Not this country. This country under Mahatma Gandhi, under the stalwarts of the freedom struggle, ensured that men and women voted at the same time. That is the vision of India. Equality, which Mahatma Gandhi called Sarvodaya. But, as the governor rightly said, there is always a little gap between the ideal and the real. This is what we want to discuss here. Not the gap, but how we bridge the gap. And I think we have many ways to look at the stats. The sex ratio is one. The health of women is another way to look at it. Their participation in workforce is another way to look at it. These are all quantitative data that the modern world speaks of as evidence. But young people, brothers and sisters, faculty, it's also in the spirit of women of India that you find the evidence that India is going forward. Will you join me in welcoming again these wonderful women who are taking the spirit of India forward? They have a story, and the wonderful MCs read their stories. When 2000 was ushered, the digital world was preoccupied with the Y2K. Veena was preoccupied in getting a business that could cater to an untouched market before, where poverty was giving way to self-esteem. And Veena said, every woman and man in the middle class can also think of well-being, right, Veena? And now you dream of 1,000 women entrepreneurs. Mahathi, when I was looking at your CV and inspirational as your songs are, you're also the journey of a modern young woman. Same, I think, of Shanmugapriya. In today's world, too, careers are possible. Lifelong learning is the theme. So may I ask you, Mahathi, first, what was that transition? What gifts did you take forward from being the little child prodigy to being the wonderful playback singer that you are. The mic is right in front of you.
Check. Namaste. A very good afternoon to all of you present here. My sincere thanks to Malavari ma'am, Managing Trustee and Chairperson of Sri Krishna College and Group of Institutions, and the G20 Summit team for having invited me to be a panelist for the G20 Youth Ambassador Summit today. This is my third visit to SKCC today. My previous visits have been in the capacities of a performer, a judge for a musical event, and so on. Today I stand before you on a platform that speaks about entrepreneurship and empowerment. In a forum that speaks about unity in diversity, under the big banner of G20 Summit, the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji. Under these circumstances, I probably stand before you as a more empowered person than what I probably think of myself. It gives me more power and strength to be talking in front of you. Why? Because it's one of my basic qualities to always try and give my best when I go up on stage every time. Here, I would like to quote the statement of the basketball legend, Michael Jordan, who said, every time when I go up to play, I give my best shot because I always feel there's someone in the audience who's watching me for the first time. And my goal is to win his or her appreciation. The same applies to me. My aim would be to win the heart of the person who's listening to me for the first ever time, listening to my music for the first ever time. So, like ma'am asked me about my journey and my transformation from being that little prodigy and to whatever I am here today. It has never been an easy journey. I hail from a family of musicians. My great-grandfather is Sangeeta Kalanidhi Paramaneri Swaminatha Iyer, who was a renowned violinist. And my father, Triviyar P. Shekhar. He is a disciple of Dr. M. Balamurali Krishna, a vocalist, and my mother, Srimati Vasanti Shekhar, is a flautist. But none of them are performing musicians. I'm the first performing musician from my family. So, transforming from that, non-performing background to whatever I am today had a lot of challenges. Let me go with my motive to what makes me today. My motive is to stay true to the music that I breathe every day, and also stay true to each and everyone who listens to my music, so that it reaches across in the same way as I envision it in my mind. This is what I dream of every time I go up on stage. I'm sure Malavari ma'am had once dreamt of Sri Krishna institutions to be this massive institution that it is today. This was her dream. And every time she comes up into the campus, I'm sure she feels her dream has come true. This is what I exactly feel a woman should be empowered to do. When she's empowered to deliver what she feels in her mind, what she wants to do, and communicate that across to 500,000 people, it kind of completes the emancipation of women in the society. Let me explain this to you by stating myself as an example. Whenever I'm performing on stage, whether it is Carnatic music or film songs, I have these things that run on my mind all the time. What kind of songs should I choose to sing? When it's a Carnatic concert, எப்படியாப்பட்ட audience முன்னாடி பாட போறோம்? Carnatic music அவங்களுக்கு தெரியுமா? இல்ல குரல் மட்டும் ரசிக்கிற ஆடியன்ஸா? என்ன பாட்டு பாடினா அவங்களுக்கு பிடிக்கும்? So on the go, I tweak my plan a bit. So I start with a kriti, and then I kind of decide, okay, adoda receptivity paathitte, I kind of tweak my plan. So this is what I do when I'm on stage. How the audience would receive it and how to deliver my songs at its best. In fact, every woman in this forum is able to think what they dream of and how to deliver that in the best way possible. You don't really need someone to come and wish you and celebrate a Women's Day to tell you that you are empowered. Wish to tell you that you are empowered. You be what you are. Live your dream. Give your best. That's empowerment. Many times, as women, we look for acknowledgement. It is normal human tendency to expect accolades and appreciation from people around us. So, when I talk to my husband or my son, I come to understand that they expect the same. If my son is wearing a new t-shirt, it's like, Amma, eppadi irukku? Nanna irukka? So it's the same thing. So when I wear a new sari, it's like, husband vandu sollalanna konjam varutham dhaan paduvom, illaya? But sonnarna romba sandoshapaduvom. We expect, I can see that reaction out there. So it is a natural human tendency to appreciate and acknowledge each other. So we are on this together, traveling towards a better future. If I were to think what I'm doing here about Vasudeva Kudumpakam, which says that the world is one big family. In fact, I was thinking, in first Sri Krishna College, in the call vandabodhu, இந்த டாப்பிக்கை கொடுத்து ஒரு 4 பாட்டு பாட சொன்னால் நான் நிம்மதியாக பாடிட்டு போயிருப்பேனே, என்னை கூப்பிட்டு பேச வச்சுட்டாங்களே, இப்போ என்ன பண்ண போகிறோம்? பாட சொன்னால் நல்லா பாட முடியும். அதனால தான் ஃபுல் என்னோட ஸ்பீச் நான் என்ன பேசணுங்கிறத நான் எழுதிட்டு வந்தேன். இங்கே இருக்கிறவங்க யார்கிட்டையும் எந்த பேப்பரும் நான் பார்க்கல. அதுவே வந்து started giving me a cold feet. Anyhow. So, ஆனால் நம்மளை பேச கூப்பிட்டுருக்காங்க. So, standing in front of you without singing was my biggest challenge. How did I overcome it? So, I was thinking, what would I sing if I were to sing here? So, I would sing Endaru Mahanubavalu, Andariki Vandanamulu. What does that mean? I salute all the greats in front of me. That's exactly what I'm doing in prose. I would do it in poetry while I'm singing. There's this saying, Yadum Ure Yavarum Kelir. What does that mean? Technically, it means wherever you are, the whole place is yours. This is Sangagalatha Tamil. People like Kaniyan Pungunar had way back envisaged the whole world as one. These borders, as you see, are on the maps, and all those things are for me to teach my son in geography. This is physical demarcation, adha boundary, idha and the state, adha and the state, idu vera country appdin solradhukku. So as humans, we don't need any boundaries. While I perform in different parts of the world, there is a mix of Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Sanskrit, Kannada, and many other languages. So what is music to me? It is a language and a medium to express my thoughts. So my profession as such is a perfect example of unity in diversity in all its glory. I perform Alaipaide Kanna or a Marathi Abhang or a Purandradasa Kriti in Kannada with an African drummer at a program in Durban. So he does not know what Alaipaide Kanna, Unananda, no single word is understood by him. But what connects me with him is the music. The music, that is the language that connects the musician in me, the musician in him, and in turn the audience. Performing to an audience in some remote place in France, இப்போ நான் பாடுற Carnatic music, for example, இப்போ நான் எந்த languageல பாடினாலும் அதில் இருக்கிற emotion தான் உங்களுக்கு convey ஆகுது. I could sing, Krishna ni begane baro, Krishna ni begane, or குறை ஒன்றுமில்லை மறைமூர்த்தி கண்ணா, குறை ஒன்றுமில்லை கண்ணா. It's an emotion that conveys and that passes through you. It's not the language. So coming back to the point that ma'am had asked me, I had my own challenges. Being a playback singer, I got my recognition as a playback singer in 2001. Although my family is deep-rooted in Carnatic music, my parents wanted me to become only a Carnatic musician. It was just by chance that I had the opportunity to meet Sri Ilayaraja sir, and he made me sing a song in his film Kadal Jadi. And my first biggest hit was Ayyo Pudichirukku from Sami. Way back then, my name as a playback singer was well known. So to straddle both the worlds, the Carnatic music that I wanted to enter, the film music world that gave me a lot of hit songs, to strike this balance was a huge challenge. Carnatic music, the hardcore Puritans, the so-called Puritans, felt that I am a mere playback singer who cannot sing hardcore Carnatic music. And they thought she's a playback singer who also sings Carnatic music. Similarly, in the playback world, they thought she is from a very deep-rooted Carnatic background. Avangalam vandu aana sangeetham paadravanga. That was really the word. Aana iluppanga. Avanga eppadi cinema paattu paada mudiyum. But thankfully, I had to prove myself and sing both Yammadi Atadi and Swararaga Sudha back to back. I would sing Yammadi Atadi Unna Yanakku Thariyadi and Swararaga Sudha Rasayuta Bhakti. Both. So, to make them understand that I'm capable of doing both, it took me about 17 long years. So way back in 2001, as a playback singer, I started my career. And there have been several organizations, the Carnatic music organizations, that has refused to host my concert because I'm a playback singer. But I feel I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, at least to some extent, wherein I get calls from those very organizations who say, we want to host your concert today. So this journey was something that was my mother's dream, to straddle both worlds equally, to strike that perfect balance and to keep them mutually exclusive. So it didn't happen overnight at all. It is a struggle and it is a continuous process. I would call it present continuous tense. So it's a struggle, ongoing struggle every day.
Wonderful. Mahathi, unga சொல்லும்போது நல்லா கை தட்டிருங்க. மனசுக்கு வந்தா கை தட்டிரணும். பாராட்டுறதுக்கு தயக்கமே இருக்க கூடாது. ரெண்டு விஷயம் மஹாத்தி பேசும்போது மனசுக்கு ரொம்ப பட்டது. ஒரு பக்கம் ஒரு தனி பெண்ணோட பயணம். The journey of a woman. அந்த தனி பெண்ணோட பயணத்துக்கு வேல்யூ உண்டு. அந்த காலத்தில் குரூப் பண்ணிட்டாங்க எங்களை. பெண்கள் இப்படி தான் இருக்கணும். Society started dictating how women should be. ரொம்ப லேசாக சொன்னாங்க மஹாத்தி. மஹாத்தி said, at home we were musicians, public spaceல பாடக்கூடாது. One of the things all of you young people should know, when India had its freedom struggle, there were multiple internal freedom struggles that we had. And one of it was to see women in public places. And today, 75 years later, what Mahathi is doing, we are standing the way we want to stand as equal members of society. Kai tattirangla ungalku. Now, this is very important because I think we have come a long way on many things. School enrollment. I was very touched that Sujit spoke about the entry into higher education. There's a success story in school enrollment. 99% of children who should be in school are in school. The challenge has moved ahead. How do we keep them in school? How do we keep learning? Life-centered, life-connected. But Mahathi, what you also said, and this is so important, is this patience that one requires to traverse the journey, not just for yourself, but for fellow men and women. 17 வருஷம் பொறுமையா இந்த பக்கம் கிளாசிக்கல் வேர்ல்ட், கிளாசிக்கல் மியூசிக்கோட உலகம், இந்த பக்கம் பாப்புலர் மியூசிக் ஓட உலகம். என்ன ஆங்கிலத்தில் சொல்லுவாங்க, ஆர்ட் மிரர்ஸ் சொசைட்டி. சமுதாயம் எப்படி இருக்கோ ஆர்ட் அதை ரிஃப்ளெக்ட் பண்ணுதுன்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஸோ இன்றைக்கி ரொம்ப அழகாக ரெண்டு டைமென்ஷனும் மாற்றி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ரவுண்டில் டச் பண்ணியிருக்காங்க. த ஜேர்னி ஆஃப் அ உமன் and the journey of empowerment in her profession, which is becoming a very important vocation in India. The entertainment world is worth $1 billion and more, and I'm sure many of you would want to be part of that journey as well. Thank you, Mahathi. I want to come to Veena. Veena will be able to tell us also about the journey of an entrepreneur. Veena, I read in the week, in fact, it was pointed by my brother last week, that 40% of India's women entrepreneurs come from Tamil Nadu. This is the data. 40% of India's women entrepreneurs come from Tamil Nadu. And I immediately looked back 75 years. இது 6 வருஷமோ 2 வருஷமோ 3 வருஷமோ கிடையாது. பல தலைமுறைகள் சேர்ந்து வேலை பார்த்தனால தான் இந்த 40%. எங்க பாட்டி காலத்துல ஒதுங்கி ஒதுங்கி ஒளிஞ்சு ஒளிஞ்சு எழுத படிக்க கற்றுக்கிட்டாங்க. அவங்க பிள்ளைகளை ஸ்கூலுக்கு அனுப்பிச்சாங்க. அவங்க என்ன பண்ணாங்க, மாற்றி மாதிரி நீ முன்னாடி போ நான் பின்னாடி நிற்கிறேன்னு சொன்னாங்க. அம்மாமார்கள் மட்டும் இல்லை, இன்றைக்கி பெண் குழந்தைங்க ஆண் குழந்தைங்க பின்னாடி அப்பா அம்மா சேர்ந்து நிற்கிற சூழல் வந்தாச்சு. பட் வீணா பண்ணுற வேலை இந்த entrepreneurship is still something where I think a bit of a barrier still exists. ரிஸ்க் எடுக்கலாமா, குழந்தைங்களை வளர்க்குற டைமில் பிஸ்னஸ்க்கு நேரம் கொடுக்கலாமா? Veena, tell us your story. We want to hear you.
Thank you so much, and a very happy afternoon to all of you. When you say my story, I think basically when I'm a commerce student, and after I finished college, I knew being a BCom student, I wouldn't be, couldn't get a job anywhere, basically only as an accountant probably. So I had to do something more. Also from the family, all of them, my dad's family, they were in business. They were in type foundry business. It's a big family business. And so there's always been a thought that I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So that has been there from childhood. So after marriage and when the children were in school, I said, okay, I have to start doing something on my own. And the opportunities then, if you're something that you could manage home and also do something on your own was, the choices were either you can start a play school from which you run from home, or you could probably do a boutique, or then a salon. And then we opted for a beauty parlor because at that time, parlors were not very, not very how it is today. Not very hygienically maintained, and they were very small, and it's generally run from home. And so we thought there was an opportunity in that, and we said, okay, why not start a salon? I was not technically trained, so we hired somebody from Taj. She was a stylist there, and she, joined us. And so we said, okay, we'll invest in and start. So that's how it started. And at that time, it was, as you were saying, it's a taboo industry. Not too many people were willing. Even the landlord was not willing to give us the property when we went around looking for the space. They said, "Mudi vetra kadaikku enga oorla ella enga veetla ella enna solvanga." And the madri da was the the thing. Then today, of course, it is a fashion industry, and the whole thing has changed. The way people look at beauty industry today is entirely different. But then at that time it was very challenging to even get a space for a salon and a parlor. And in fact he said, don't name it salon, beauty parlor nona per venga, salon and per vekka kudadhu nu sonnaru. This is his condition when he gave the property. And so we went on, we chose a place on Kadar Navaskan Road. In Chennai it is a high street and very close to Taj, because this lady said, I will have my customers coming there, so you set up a place close by. And the investment was huge then, 35 lakhs. 20 years back, it was a huge amount, because even today it is only up to 40-50 lakhs. But then that time it was huge, because everything had to be imported. And so all that struggle of starting, finally after almost 3-4 months of work, we managed to open the salon. And then a few months later, this lady walked out. She just walked out one day saying, why should I work for you? I'll start something on my own. So that's what, she left us high and dry there on the floor, and one morning she was not there. So then that's when the real, this thing of being an entrepreneur struck us, because you have to find somebody to run the business. I am not a hairdresser, I couldn't do anything on the floor. And I had a few girls who were beauticians, they were not heading the salon basically. So that's the first challenge we face. So then they step by step learned, found somebody from the market, got them, and then the journey went on. So that's how it was. And initially when, after a couple of salons, we wanted to expand, and we found that, banks were not very willing to, fund us. And also people were not too interested in investing in a saloon business because they were not sure how that will, how it will work, because we've just got about 2 saloons and they were just watching us. But a few years later, yes, we then got a bank to invest in us, and we managed to open about 5 salons and started looking for partners or franchisees rather. But again, at that point, nobody was interested. It was a brand, just Naturals was a small brand then, and a homegrown brand. Nobody knew much about it. So then that's when we, thought, what next? How do we go about this? So we said, okay, let's look at partners. So where we also invest and they also put in their money, so at least the trust is there that somebody, we are there to support them if something doesn't happen or it doesn't go well. So that was the next step, and we had my friends and relatives, mostly my relatives who were women, and when seeing me doing, so they said, why not, we'll also invest, so we'll start something, and so that's how we started the next few saloons. In fact, even Coimbatore, the first saloon we started, was with my cousin. She invested, and we partnered with her and started the first salon here in Coimbatore. So slowly the trust grew, and then people started watching, and a lot of them, in fact, a lot of my other partners who came into the business were, or franchisees were, the customers who used to come to the salon. So they saw the salon, and then, they wanted to do something. They said, why not? It's an interesting, and beauty, of course, and hospitality comes very well for women. So a lot of them got interested, and the model that is in front of them is, everything is in the framework, everything is given to them. So all that they had to do is, invest and also run the business on a daily basis. So they found it very convenient to do it. So that's the journey. Today we are at 700 plus salons, and more than 300 plus or 400 are women entrepreneurs with us.
Kai tattirunga, 700 salons. 2000 la aarambichanga, this is 2023. I want to take a few seconds, Veena, because just like Mahathi, what you've done is the journey of a young woman. Mahathi, unga kudumbathila eppadi, they were a group of musicians, but coming into the public foray was the first for you. Similarly, Veena sonnadhu, nama kudumbangala neriya kudumbangala idu irukum. Aarambathila padikanuma, kalyano, kudumbo, padikanumangara kelvi. Veena adha taandi, because she was a daughter of modern India, padichitanga. But from an observer of business enterprise, she became a leader in business enterprise. So on the personal journey, paranga, personal space in the public space, I think for all young ambassadors, that journey is very valuable. And we don't stop with this journey, as Mahathi and Veena have told us. There will be many, many, many more girls wanting to cross the early barriers. In fact, just 10 days ago, I was in Benares, Kasi lerna, and the trustees took me around the temple. And then I traveled to Bodh Gaya. I was always interested to see Bodh Gaya. Anga or koil irukku, Gayala. And I work with children, pediatrics is my area. My colleagues from Shanthi Ashram are here. One of the areas we work in is early marriage of girl children. Because underage girls kalyanam pannangana, not only are their lives at risk, they can die early, their babies are also unhealthy. In the edathila, in the koilla, ninnite irundhen naan, it was about 8:30 in the evening. Rendu per kalyananu kootitu vandanga. I'm not exaggerating, Veena. அந்த பொண்ணுக்கு 12 வயசுக்கு மேலே இருக்காது. பொண்ணு மாதிரி கூட்டிட்டு வந்தாங்க. பையனுக்கு 15. ஒழுங்கா மீசை கூட வரல. அப்போ நான் பக்கத்தில் இருக்கவங்க கிட்ட கேட்டேன், isn't child marriage illegal அப்படின்னா. பழசுக்கு இப்போ பரவாயில்ல. அப்போ 9 வயசு 12 வயசுல ஆயிட்டு இருந்தது. இப்போ 13 14ன்னு. So for all of you young people, the positive stories, we have come a long way. But it is not the life of every woman. And that is why what Veena said, and the vaartha avanga sonnanga parunga, and empowermentla enna sonnanga, trust. When people trust you, when institutions are trusted, when people see that working together works, more women join in. Individual women became investors, co-investors in Veena's case, and many more women are working. Today, Veena has not only created with her husband 700 outlets, but employs a significant number of men and women. She being an entrepreneur is able to help first generation people coming out of poverty. But அவங்க CV படிக்கும்போது இன்னொன்று மனசுக்கு எனக்கு பட்டது. I want to share this with you. That's the India that we are dreaming of. That no boy or no girl will feel that if I am a girl or if I am a boy, I can't do this. Social conditioning and stereotyping will not come in the way. Veena உடைய dream என்ன தெரியுமா? Not only to have 1,000 women entrepreneurs incubated with her, but she brings to the society the unisex model of providing beauty and well-being services. Kai tattirunga. That equal society is being represented. பயம் இல்லாமல் தயக்கம் இல்லாமல் ஆணும் பெண்ணும் சேர்ந்து நிற்கலாம் இங்கிறது அவங்களோட என்டர்பிரைஸில் ஒரு எடுத்துக்காட்டாக இருக்குது. All of these are not stories just to be heard. I hope when you become a professional working, these journeys will inspire you. An equal place, connecting the personal challenges that a woman faces, but also giving what the world has to offer. And therefore I come to you, Shanmugapriya. We also, in some ways, the world of medicine and public health, we don't see ourselves as industry yet, even though the private sector is growing. But almost every healthcare provider who's in private practice is an entrepreneur, right? It's a startup. You start somewhere. You've had 20 years as a private practitioner. You've had 14 years as someone who's looked at critical dental medicine. Tell us about your journey and a little bit about how you moved from one profession that you trained and adored to another profession that you always dreamt about.
Good afternoon, everyone. Already, truly, I feel empowered. Being part of this G20 summit, organized by Malavali ma'am, this prestigious institution, such a graceful way, and sharing the stage with these wonderful, empowered women. Truly, I am empowered already. So, yeah, empowered women has the strength, resilience, empathy, and emotional intelligence, and they know to connect very well. It's all inherent. We all have this. So there is, when there is a potential, when there is an opportunity, automatically you will become empowered. When my dad wanted me to do medicine, he said, the first thing, you have to go on night duties. So we will choose a line where you won't have emergencies and night duties. Okay, I was allowed. Then I got my bachelor's in dentistry. I was trained under 3 eminent women dental surgeons at Coimbatore. Actually, my mom wasn't okay. It was like, you can pursue some arts degree. We belong to a privileged agriculture family. And you can take care of home and you can take care of children, because women need to be at home to bring up the children. When the women is at home only, the home flourishes. That's my mom's idea. But till date, whenever I'm busy, whenever I don't have time for my children or my parents, my mom used to blame my dad. See, you put her in a profession where she doesn't have time to talk to us. That's the scenario. After 47 years and after into practice for 22 years, still my mom doesn't approve this as a big achievement. But I'm from a village called Naikarapatti near Palani. So when I traveled from Palani, as soon as I got my graduation, I told my parents I'm moving to the city where I want good exposure. So I worked in the eminent institutions. I got trained. This was dream, working in a corporate hospital, not a corporate hospital, working in an institution where you can work with the other faculties too. So I got the opportunity. I had my private practice too, where critical dental care is pre and post surgical patients or medically compromised patients, you give dental care. This is something BDS graduate or a woman was hesitant or not doing in many areas. it was mainly taken up by our male counterparts. I have to work twice as hard as them to prove to be there that I'm an eminent surgeon. So it took me around 10 years. Now I'm the HOD at GKNM hospital for dental care, critical dental care. And my colleagues are MDS counterparts. 4 male counterparts are working, and we have one more doctor with me. But there was a small, it is a stressful job, of course. When we are treating the patients, they are on monitor, and we are also on monitor. So we don't have to tell how stressful we are. So there was a small part, a small girl's dream. When I was young, my grandma used to host the sari person in a courtyard. She used to bring her friends, relatives, and she used to, they used to show the saris, and all the women who gathered in the courtyard, they used to share their stories. They will first greet the person, we call it as Gookalandu in our native language. So there was no WhatsApp, no Facebook, no social medias. This person brings the stories from around 18 villages to the courtyard, once in 3 months or 4 months. So all the women, the grandmas and aunts of mine, they used to have stories, they discuss. Before taking the sari, they'll be like, for what occasion I'm going to wear this, how I am going to look in this. All these things they'll be discussing. There'll be a lot of happiness, chatter, and one will be telling, you can take this, you can do this. Now we are affordable, we are buying enough and more. We have so much access. But I was missing the pleasure of buying experience, where we used to have stories, where we used to think this is for that, this is for this. And they touch the way he shows and the fabric feel, whatever it may be. And then they tell, mostly, even my grandma's saris, I am holding it close to my heart and in my wardrobe, because it can be passed. The sustainable clothing. When you value a product and buy, it will stay with you forever. I just wanted to give that experience. That's when I had this passion for dressing up. I think clothing is an extension of your personality. When you want to present yourselves better to the world, this is the best way. So that's when I started 5 years back with my pop-up shows, where I used to collect, I used to work with the artisans, I used to travel and collect my saris, and we go to a place where we exhibit our products. Just 8 months back, I started my physical store. This physical store, again, I have a vision, like how Veena ma'am have done personal grooming, affordable to everyone. We would like to have the space where women can come and talk, they can have conversations like tea tasting, they can talk about, they can discuss about their taste on the saris, on the handlooms, on the products, and they can take it. So it will be a community where we will be having, and personal styling will be affordable to everyone. We would like to understand whomever comes to our place, what's their personality. Accordingly, we want to design their wardrobe, let it be work wardrobe or their occasional wardrobe. So we have a small team of 10 people working on it. The only thing I would like to say, let it be dentistry or this entrepreneurship, what I'm pursuing. If you have a passion, no risk or no challenges or new human capability can stop you. You are restless. You're crazy about it. You can't sleep. And if you have the right team with you, the skilled people who are so authentic about their skill set, who are happy to work with you, who share the dreams or your vision with you, when you have the right team, this is going to happen. So this is how I'm traveling now, ma'am.
What a story, Shanmugapriya. Again, my goal is not to deconstruct what you shared because your sharing was already powerful. But just like Veena and Mahathi, I think you spoke about the personal journey of a woman. Nekarpattilendi Coimbatore varano, taking charge. I think this taking charge is a story that is universal. Girls, inga ukkandirukra ovvoru young woman who taking charge. When does one take charge of life? Do you wait for 18 when you become an adult? Or do you start thinking today? My life is in my hand to shape. But again, Shanmugapriya said something very important. If you have a family, if you have an ecosystem, it becomes a joy. Those struggles that are there. But it's not very common in our generation still. And the hesitant parents, madri, hesitant professional colleagues, dentist, how will that work? So in the lifelong learning is paralleled by lifelong interventions. And I remember I had to choose, Shanmugapriya, when I grew up in Nagaland, where the governor was before, and I came to the south. Art fascinated me as much as science. But when I left 12th standard, you have to choose engineering, medicine, arts. But I kept the artist in me always. Paate, kalaigal. But it was a personal effort. Inniki Shanmugapriya personal journey la society is allowing for that, but also you are taking the first steps towards having 2 careers or 3 careers in a lifetime. உங்களுக்கு எத்தனை பேருக்கு தெரியும்னு தெரியாது இந்த ஆவரேஜ் ஏஜ் மிஸ்டர் அமிதாப் காந்த் 29 இயர்ஸ் இருக்கும்னு சொன்னாங்க 100 வருஷம் ஆகும்போது இந்தியாவுடைய ஃப்ரீடம் அதே மாதிரி இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ்க்கு முன்னாடி பிஃபோர் இண்டிபெண்டன்ஸ் 1940ஸ்ல ஒரு பெண் குழந்தை பிறந்தாங்கன்னா லைஃப் எக்ஸ்பெக்டன்சி வாஸ் only 32 years. My mother was never tired of telling me that, Vinu, when I was born, the life expectancy was 32 years. Today, if a baby girl is born in any of our families, it's doubled. It's touching 70. And that's because many things have come together. Good doctors, good health care, but also dignity of woman has gone up. And therefore, we can dream of that. I'm going to look out for any questions, and we have 2 wonderful MCs. If you spot anyone with a question, please ask them for a mic. But in the interim, as we are looking around for hands for questions, MCs I'm going to ask Veena, you first. How do you prepare for a 20-year journey? It requires hope, but it also requires practical tools. So for women to be empowered, for women to traverse their economic journey, there needs to be some preparation, internal and external. Will you speak to us so that the young global ambassadors can look at preparation as a way to success?
Okay, for us, I mean, we did not expect this to grow, as it is today. Almost 15 to 20 years back, we thought it was, if you have 5 salons across Chennai, we've kind of reached our goal. But as things grew, I mean, as it evolved, and then, the IT opened up, and then we found that women's needed grooming. It became very essential. Earlier, it was to be only for an occasion. People would come to the salon, especially in the south. They're still conservative, so they used to come to the salon only when there's a wedding in the family, or they wanted to do some makeup or get some grooming done at that point of time. So it was not a very regular thing. But then IT opened up, and you had all the young girls going to jobs, and then for them grooming became very essential. And then we found the need that yes, we had to open up more salons, and so that's how it grew. So the preparation as such was, we evolved and we grew as things opened up. So that was it. But yes, there is a lot of background work that you need to do, because when you're expanding, you need that many manpower. You need to prepare for that. So all along, along the way, we opened up institutions. We opened up the academy where we could train people, because that was that's the biggest challenge that you'll find in the industry. You need trained manpower. So so along the way, we did that. And that's how it was.
So, ketukonga, success, open mind, observing society, preparing both the understanding the demand, but also preparing to supply. Mahathi, can I ask you a question? Negotiation is something today's business schools say we must learn. because you don't want to always end up on the spot, not knowing how to deal with it. How important was it for you to negotiate the personal world and the public world, and how did you do it? Negotiating your space.
Okay, it's a very demanding thing. So I had a media person taking a small snippet from me just outside. Soon after the inaugural function, he asked me like, how do you deal with so many singers coming up every day, and how do you think your space is? How do you manage your space in that? So yeah. So again, we will over to the social media for everything. So when I started off, not many know, so not many of you may recognize a very popular singer who sang her song in her 60s and 1960s and 50s. She may be a huge singer, but you may not know her by face, but you know her only by her voice. But today, you sing one song and you become an instantaneous celebrity with the audience. And wherever you go, you're being noticed. So me, I started, my first playback song was recorded when I was in my 12th standard. And soon after Ayyo Pudichirukku, it was very difficult to balance my studies. I wanted to become an engineer. So I did my 11th and 12th computer science and all that, but then ended up choosing BA Literature at Meenakshi College, and then pursued my MA Literature as well. So instantaneously, the TV channels started, they get your interviews, they get all your concerts, you perform on special occasions like Diwali, and inga paathalum and ella shows-liyum and irukum. So adukapprama to manage something that you want to do without much publicity and all that, it is definitely a day-to-day challenge. So I would like to be a perfect mom and a wife, homemaker at home. So I take care of my cooking, I drop my son to school, I do all of that when I'm in Chennai. So when I'm not there, everything goes for a sixer. So it's a very challenging situation, but then for that, I completely give those credits to my husband, Dr. Sri Kumar, who's also her faculty. He's a dentist, he's an oral maxillofacial surgeon. So he understands that what music and my profession means to me. So he knows if I'm going, okay, I'm going today, I'm going by the morning flight, I will be back by the evening, I will prepare Samarth, my son, for tomorrow's exam, so don't worry. So I will be there home for dinner. So this is the flow chart of the day. So this, I give him an update and he understands, and more than that, not just an understanding partner, an understanding in-laws, I think that also matters a lot. They also let me do my job. So my job involves a lot of travel, being away from home, and if at all I'm going for a shoot, a reality show shoot, that's what happens most of the times of late. So I leave home at 9 o'clock and I'm back home at 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. So this, nobody can relate to it. Why is it taking so long? You're going for a shoot, it'll just get over in 3-4 hours, no? So that's what people look at it. But then you have to be there to understand what goes through a shoot and all that. So balancing both personal life and my focus for what I have to do for music. So my practice takes up a lot of time. When I'm at home and my phone is on airplane mode, I go off to practice, I'm unreachable. And my son says, he has this word, Amma's in concert mode, do not disturb. So the concert mode is something that I always like to be in. So that's what keeps me alive, and that's what I breathe. So my son and my family knows that my first priority or my passion is my music. So that's what keeps me going, and that's what helps me become a better mother and a better wife.
So I think that's a very important thing. I think while society will tell you its own formula, finding your own formula is the 21st century woman's privilege, right? How do we lead our professional lives, our ambitions? How do we negotiate the personal space as well? Do we have questions, or shall I go to... I have...
Just ask if
You can ask.
One or two questions. Can I have the young ambassadors, especially women out there who have one or two quick questions? We have a mic out there. You can just reach out to that. We have an esteemed. Yeah. Two quick questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that lady has the mic. Yeah, ma'am.
Please go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. I'm Sneha Janathan. I'd like to say I'm very honored to be asking you a question today. All four of you are pioneers in your fields, and I wanted to ask that being an entrepreneur or being in your fields are very scary things to do. What has been your personal mantra getting through the tough times, or when you're scared or don't know what to do? What's your personal mantra?
Shanmugapriya, will you go for it?
It's your dream. It's your passion. That's what, as I told you. Actually, I was listening to, when I was driving, I was listening to the radio jockey saying, உங்களுக்கு நீங்க பண்ற வேலை பிடிக்கணும்னா ஒரு லோன் எடுத்துக்கோங்க, அதுக்கு மேல அதை லவ் பண்ணணும்னா இன்னொரு பெரிய லோன் எடுத்துக்கோங்க. So let it be family, let it be your profession, let it be your entrepreneurship. What are you investing in it? Your dreams, your finances, and the human resources who are relying on you. So if you are aware of that, already you love something, that's why you are going to do. If you love it more, it's going to treat you well. So all these small challenges. Even the last seminar, someone asked me, why ma'am at this age? Since the passion didn't die, I hardened this passion, the money for it, the team, the dream team who is creating whatever I want to create, everything you yearn hard. So basically you have to have a dream that will break all the barriers. That's what, see, you will communicate with your family, you will communicate with your staffs, you will communicate with your investors, you will tell them that what do you dream, what is your vision. So communication is again the second key. Like you have to tell people what you want. Until and unless you are voicing out what you want, it's not the other person's job to look at you and take care of you. So any field, there are challenges. If you have the dream and if you want to negotiate it, if you want to make it happen, it's you. It's your strength. That's what is going to make it happen.
So I think that's a very important thing. Dream, dare, keep going. As a doctor, I will say take care of your health as well. Mental health, physical health, social health. Be with the right people. Exercise, exercise, exercise. Don't neglect your health. And the mind must be completely primed with that dream so that you can go. So health is also very important. A lot of women have dreams, but health kind of weakens the journey. So focus on that. The last question here, please go ahead.
Congratulations, first of all, to start with. So my question is, when the society climbs for an age or a timeline to venture your own startup or being an entrepreneur, what's your opinion of the role or your opinion on the age of being an entrepreneur?
So I'm going to ask Veena as well as Mahathi to comment on that. Is there an age to be an entrepreneur?
No, I don't think there's an age to be an entrepreneur. Whenever, I mean, a lot of us start quite late. And but as she said, if you have a passion and you have a dream you want to, she became an entrepreneur very recently. Shanmugapriya, she was a doctor. Her profession was a doctor, and then now she's become an entrepreneur. I mean, another line of business that she started. So I don't think there is age is a barrier to start. You could start anytime as long as you have the passion and you're prepared for it.
Thank you so much.
Let me talk not about being an entrepreneur, but about becoming a performer. Many of them ask this to me, I want to become a performer, but எனக்கு ஃபார்மல் ட்ரைனிங் எதுவுமே கிடையாது, நான் முன்னாடி படித்ததே கிடையாது, உங்களை மாதிரி சின்ன வயசுலேருந்துலாம் நான் பாடவே மாட்டேன். ஸோ how do I become a performer? So first of all, it's your skill set. Anybody who believes in their skill set, I think, is an entrepreneur. Right? So anyone who firmly believes in their skill can definitely achieve what they want to be. So no formal training, but you can sing, you know to reproduce the sound, you have a good voice. Yes, it's never too late for anything. I would definitely suggest, you go for it. Whatever it is, go for it.
Yeah. So that's wise words. We're almost at the end of our hour, and I will keep time, but maybe because this is G20, because we are dreaming of India's place in the world, Vasudeva Kudumbakam, but also the 3 English phrases that have been added to it, one people, one planet. Shanmugapriya, what will be your dream for the young girls of today, and what will you tell them?
Pursue your dreams, but more than that, communicate with your parents, with your partner. Whatever you want to get it, ask for it. Don't hesitate to ask help. That should be my advice. And if you're again and again, I'm coming to that point that being passionate and being dreaming about it. If you're determined, no one can stop you. My daughters are pursuing law. I did medicine. So when they wanted to do political science and business, I said, go explore the world. Just go beyond your limits. In the previous panel, Moderator was saying how, let it be a male or female child, how when they want something, from at what cost they are risking themselves, or they are ready to take up that, to go ahead, to stand out where you are. So government is providing a lot of grants. There are these wonderful institutions, they give sponsorships. There is a lot more opportunities. Like when we started 20 years back, when we got educated, I think it was a bit difficult. Now, we can, if you ask, you will get it. Yeah. That's the mantra you have to have. You open your eyes, open the opportunities, and the potential on the women particularly. I was seeing a data, there is 5% leadership. There is only 70% of women on workforce. There is some 10 or 20 venture capitalists. I'm not a business person. Forgive me if I'm giving the wrong data. Maybe this is just 5 years back or something now, I don't know. So there is a equal women resource lying in front of you, near you. I would urge the male partners, counterparts, to open up for these young women, or whomever is, let it be your mother, let it be your sister, whoever wants to pursue something, please give them an opportunity. Please stand with them. How you unconditionally love them. You think loving them is protecting them or safeguarding them. No, unconditionally support them. Yeah. When a woman walks out of their home, as you, they are also equally performing tasks. So be supportive, whatever they are going to do. When you do, we are empowered. Are you ready to handle our empowerment? The empowered women? That's the point. Only very few people who ever have empowered are already here. But if you bring the gender equality, please be with us. That's the request.
I love the way Shanmugapriya gently said it. She said communicate, she said open spaces, she said seize opportunity, and then she said in a very gentle way, are you ready for empowered women? And I saw Ms. Gautami clapping her hands away. That's the question we want to leave you with. Are you ready for empowered women? Mahathi, what would be your 2 sentences as someone who has made it, traversed spaces? What would be your thought from the world of arts, which is a gift for this country? What will be your thought in 2 or 3 sentences to the young people?
So the success story, as they call it, I've always thought today all the more, have I achieved what I wanted? what is success? We set a goal, we work towards it, and once you achieve the goal, you reset it. You make further goals. And this journey, according to me, is very important. This journey is what I would call as success. The failures that I've faced, those who have refused to acknowledge my singing, come back to me today and say, you did a wonderful job. So I look at that as a measure of success. Today, I guess all the young minds out here, each one of you is going to think what each one of your success path is going to look like. It is not the number of likes or the followers on your Instagram or social media pages. But there are many, you should think that there are many who silently keep working towards their goals and achieve very greater things. Not a mention of it would be there on their CV or on the internet. Look at them, and like she said, you have to communicate. Grab a friend over a coffee. Ask him or her, am I traveling the right direction? Am I doing the right thing? If the answer is yes, then go for it. Keep doing it consistently. If the answer is a no, and then you will have to ponder as to what went wrong and what you can do to make it right. I've always loved this jigsaw puzzle quote where we always focus on those white boxes to be filled, but then those black squares are the ones that define the white boxes. So what went wrong, you might think that does not define me, but perhaps that's what defines you all the more better, because you know you're not supposed to do this in future, and that teaches you what to do best to get your best results. So go for it. Like she said, we are empowered. Learn to handle it. Earn that respect to handle it. Go for it. Thank you.
So I think amazing thoughts. Asking oneself, am I realizing my dream? In fact, in public health and psychology, we use the Maslow's triad. All of us use it, is self-actualization. And that is a constant question every woman must ask. But also to all of you, it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, a young leader from India who will play a pivotal role in the global world can ask this question. Accountability partners, people who can think with you. Like I said in the beginning, we don't have to be machoistic, bombastic, winners. We can be reflective winners, and we can be path-breaking pioneers if we combine that. Manasla ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க மஹாத்தி சொன்னது. யோசிச்சு பாருங்க, என்னோட பயணம் சரியான திசையில போதா, நான் என்ன அடையணும்னு நினைச்சேனோ அதை அடைஞ்சிட்டு இருக்கேனா? Very, very practical and very important questions.
I'll just add one more thing here. எப்போவுமே women empowerment இதை பற்றி பேசணும் அப்படின்னு ஒரு ஃபோரமில் கூப்பிட்டா எனக்கு ஞாபகம் வர ஒரே ஒரு விஷயம். எங்கள் அம்மா சொல்லுவாங்க, ஒரு உமன்ஸ் டே செலிப்ரேஷன்ஸ் அன்றைக்கும் டிவியில் ஒரு பெரிய அச்சீவர்ஸ், விமன் அச்சீவர்ஸோட கொலாஜ் போடுவாங்க. MS சுப்புலக்ஷ்மி, கல்பனா சாவ்லா, இந்திரா காந்தி, இந்த மாதிரி அச்சீவர்ஸோட கொலாஜ் போட்டு சொல்லுவாங்க, ஒரு நாளைக்கு இல்லை ஒரு நாள் மூஞ்சியும் அதில் வரணும், என்ன பண்ணுவையோ தெரியாது அப்படிம்பாங்க. ஸோ ஐ வுட் திங்க் டு மை செல்ஃப், ஓகே நம்ம மூஞ்சி அதில் வரணும்னா நம்ம எதாவது பாத் பிரேக்கிங்காக பண்ணி தான் ஆகணும். ஸோ இன்றைக்கி மார்னிங் கவர்னர் சொன்ன மாதிரி, டோன்ட் கோ ஃபார் தட் சேம் ஓல்டு ரோட், கோ break that path and do something new nu sonna madri. That's what I would think. What can I do to get my face there? And what can I achieve in my area of expertise, my music? What should I do better? So each one of us have that passion. So just kindle it.
Wonderful. Veena, you are an achiever. The 1,000th salon will not be far away. The 1,000th entrepreneur will not be far away. How will you call the young people to join your journey of entrepreneurship broadly? The invitation to entrepreneurship.
The invitation would be that all of you should become financially independent, and for that you'll all have to become entrepreneurs or do something. It doesn't have to be just entrepreneurship, but of course you can always find something which will make you financially independent, which is that all women should be, independent in that way. It gives you confidence, and yeah, that's how it will grow. But just get away from your inhibitions. A A lot of times our inhibitions hold us back from doing what we really want to do. So be honest to yourself and go for it.
Financial independence, I always tell younger women today, don't look for a man who's earning more. You can earn enough. Look for a man who respects you and who can be your journey. And similarly for men, don't be afraid of women who can earn more than you. That's not the only unit in which you measure a woman's presence in your life. 3 things, and we will conclude 6 minutes past the hour. First, I think what an honor it is for India to honor the G20 forum. The world is on a crisis mode. I come from the world of health. I was there last month looking at the data as far as children are concerned. Mr. Amitabh Kant spoke about the 200 million people falling into poverty. Many of them look like me, women, and many are young children. So our work for our society will define how the world deals with the crisis. 1 billion of us in the 8 billion global family live here. Second, the G20 is also a moment not only to share our success stories, but our journeys. I think the journey is what allows for people to see how we are traversing it. But also the G20 forum is a moment of pride to look at what we can do better. Veena said it well, Mahathi said it well, Shanmugapriya said it well. And I think in this institution, which is surrounded by villages, this is a living dream. Many young people can see this as a journey towards their own dreams. And finally, I think I must remember Mahatma Gandhi. It was his generation of men and women who decided together that men and women could vote. And 75 years later, imagine in a society where women were kind of kept in a certain space. We have women-headed families as a recognized name in the census. Property can be inherited by a boy or a girl, no difference anymore. Women make up 30% of local governments. That law can be put to greater use. And the challenges, the new challenges that emerge, I hope together, men and women, generations, India and the world can solve for itself. As we heard Mary Angelo say many, many, many years ago, when a woman stands, knowingly or unknowingly, she stands up for a generation of women. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking on stage. Please come forward. These wonderful women who have been path breakers in their own profession. And may I, with liberty, also ask another wonderful women leader who brought G20 to Coimbatore, Madam Malarvili, to please join us on stage, because India is safe both in the hands of her young men, but also in the hands of her young women and women leaders who are changing. Big round of applause again for these wonderful speakers and their stories.
Another big round of applause for all the pioneers in their own field. Ma'am, Srimati Malarvili, ma'am, our chairperson, ma'am,